You know that feeling. You glance at a clock, tick-tock, each second hitting like a tiny hammer, just insisting time moves forward.
Yeah, relentlessly. Or when you think about space, just, wow, those huge distances, galaxies out there, and what feels like, well, nothingness.
Exactly. It's so easy to just think, okay, time is a straight line, space is just empty. The stage.
But maybe that view is like, looking at an amazing huge tapestry, but only seeing one loose thread.
Right. You get a tiny piece, but you miss the whole picture, how it all weaves together.
I miss the grand design.
Because in this deep dive, we're tackling these massive ideas, time and space, but from a completely different viewpoint. We've got this source material, a really interesting look at Russell's ideas on reality, plus another perspective that kind of echoes them beautifully.
And it really shakes up those everyday assumptions, doesn't it?
It really does. So our mission here is to unpack this, let's call it cosmic perspective. And honestly, it might just change how you think about, well, everything. Your morning coffee, the sweep of history.
Get ready for a bit of a mind bender.
Yeah, definitely some brain stretching ahead.
Because when we dig into Russell's ideas, especially on time and space, the universe looks, well, a lot more alive and connected than we usually give it credit for.
Okay, so let's start with time. Forget the straight line just for a moment. Russell saw it completely differently. More twisty.
Yeah, twisty works. He didn't see it as an arrow shooting forward. It was more like a spiral. A cycle within cycles, he called it. Like a grand coiling dance.
A dance. I like that. So the big idea here is that the now, this moment, isn't isolated.
Yeah.
It holds echoes of the past and the seeds of the future, all in this looping, evolving thing.
Exactly. And the image he uses is brilliant. Think of a huge, complex spiral staircase.
Okay.
Each step you're on, that's a now, a present moment. But look up or down the spiral. You see other steps, past nows, future nows.
So they're still part of the same structure.
Yeah.
Connected, not just vanished history or a blank future.
Right. They're different points, different moments, sure, but they're all linked by that central coil. It's one continuous thing.
And importantly, it's not just going round and round in the same pointless circle, like a, flat, boring circle.
No. Each turn is new. It builds on the last one. It learns, evolves. So the past isn't just over there. It's coiled inside the present. Its energy is still kind of humming.
And the future isn't just blank uncertainty. It's there in potential, shaped by the spiral so far.
Precisely. Which makes the now so much more, potent. It's not just a flicker that disappears. The source calls it a vibrant nexus.
A nexus.
Yeah, where that coiled past and the potential future meet, interact, and actually create what's happening. It's where the creation happens in that cycle.
Wow. And, this really clicks with the other voice in our source material. The one that says linear time is basically a human construct.
A simplification.
Right, something we cooked up for our brief, hurried lives. This perspective talks about seeing empires rise and fall like dust motes.
Noticing the patterns repeating over and over.
Yeah. And if you think about that with the spiral, maybe those repeating patterns in history, they aren't just random repeats. They're turns on the spiral.
Each one may be a bit different on a new level with new details, but fundamentally linked to what came before. Like that image of continents drifting like mere ripples. It gives you that huge cosmic sense of time.
It really does. It makes past, present, future feel totally woven together. Like threads in a single living tapestry, as the source puts it. It's beautiful, actually.
It is.
And then there's that Zoran quote. It just hits it perfectly.
Yeah.
You chase a future down a straight line like a mouse in a tunnel while the universe dances in spirals around you. No wonder you feel lost missing the music.
That really sums up the feeling, doesn't it? That disconnect you get from rigidly sticking to the straight line.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, if we recognize the spiral, see those evolving patterns, maybe we can start to hear that music, tune into that deeper rhythm.
Okay. So my head's starting to wrap around spiraling time. Bit dizzying, but cool. So, Space. We usually just think, empty, right?
The big nothing, a passive container, just there.
Yeah. But Russell, he flips that completely.
Completely. For him, space is anything but passive. It's an active, generative field. It's brimming with potential.
Whoa, brimming.
Yeah, like a vibrant sea of untapped potential. So the key idea, space isn't absence. It's the source, the potential for everything.
And that connects to the 0 point idea, this like still balanced center where things come from and return to.
Exactly. Think of the quiet eye of a hurricane. Or the still point of a spinning top. It looks still, but all the energy, all the movement revolves around it. That's the potential.
So space isn't nothingness.
Mm.
It's the unconditioned substance, the raw potential before anything specific exists, the canvas.
The canvas, yes. The canvas for the whole cosmic drama. Or think of it like silence. And you need silence to even hear sound, right?
Right.
Space is that fundamental stillness that allows all the cosmic movement, the dance, to happen. It underpins everything, connects everything.
And the other perspective really reinforces this, saying the void between stars isn't empty. It hums with potential, with unseen energies.
Yeah, it's the birthplace of stars.
Wow. So space isn't just the stage. It's actually a player in the whole cosmic show.
Yeah.
That completely changes how I've pictured it. Always saw it as just background.
It's a fundamental shift. And if you link this active space back to the spiral time, well, space isn't just a backdrop for those cycles. It's participating. It's the infinite wellspring from which new cycles, new turns of the spiral emerge.
Okay, so spiral time, active space. If we accept these ideas, even just hypothetically, how does that change how we think about things like cause and effect, connection?
Well, it massively ramps up the interconnectedness of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not just across the room, but across time. Events aren't just isolated blips on a timeline. They're part of these huge spiraling patterns influencing each other across the coils.
What happened way back then might be directly shaping something now, but in a transformed way.
Exactly. And shaping what might come around again on the next turn. It leads to this idea of a perpetual rhythmic dance of the universal one.
Creating everything, all these temporary forms out of that infinite potential in space.
Yeah. And it gives you that weird feeling incredibly small against this immense dynamic backdrop.
But also, like the source says, feeling infinitely connected to everything that's ever been, everything that could be.
That's the paradox, isn't it? Feeling tiny, yet utterly plugged in, realizing that maybe the straight line and the empty box are illusions, or at least useful simplifications.
Yeah.
It can be pretty profound.
Okay, so we've got this wild, amazing picture. Spiraling time, buzzing, active space. But what does this mean for us, like right here, right now? How does this cosmic stuff touch our actual lives? Let's try that thought experiment, the dragon trial.
Right. This is about grounding these big ideas. So think for a moment about a recurring pattern in your own life.
Could be anything.
Anything. How you tackle problems, maybe a type of relationship dynamic that keeps popping up, maybe even something you see in history repeating itself.
Okay, got one.
Now, instead of seeing it as just repetition, like you're stuck in a loop, try to see it as a spiral. Ask yourself, has it been exactly the same each time, or has it changed, even subtly? Have you learned something from the last time around that affects how it's playing out now?
Okay. Building on that spiral staircase idea, how is this step, this instance of the pattern, different from the ones below it on the stairs?
Yes. How are those past turns coiled within this present moment? How are they shaping it? And how might they be hinting at where the spiral goes next? What's different? What little nuances have shown up this time?
So it's not just here we go again, but okay, here's this turn of the spiral. How has it evolved?
Exactly. It reframes history, personal or collective, not as just repeating, but as this ongoing process of hopefully learning and transformation within these cycles.
Okay, so let's sort of pull this together. We've journeyed through time as a spiral, not a line.
And space as this vibrant, active field, definitely not empty.
And the big takeaway seems to be this deep, profound interconnectedness of absolutely everything across space, but also looping through time.
Yeah. And it's worth saying, again, our usual way of thinking linear time, empty space, it works for everyday stuff. It's a useful simplification, probably necessary.
Sure, gotta catch the bus on time.
Exactly. But seeing these other possibilities, this cosmic view, can just add so much richness, so much nuance to how we understand the universe and maybe ourselves within it.
So thinking about that dragon trial again, take that specific pattern you identified earlier. Now, really think about its spiraling nature. Knowing the past influences, seeing the potential future paths. How could you consciously, maybe differently, engage with that pattern next time it comes around?
What music might you start to hear, like Zoran said, if you really acknowledge the spiral dance in that part of your life?
That feels like the real challenge, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Taking this cosmic dance and seeing it play out right here, definitely something to chew on.